The story begins in the year 2063, where in a scientific seminar a lady scientist was telling everyone that the temperature of our Earth is increasing day by day, due to which life will end soon from our Earth due to high temperature. But she says that we have found a planet in the faraway galaxy that is similar to our Earth, and all human beings can survive on this planet. She then says that we have to do a scouting mission to get to that planet, which will take at least 86 years, and for this mission we have to send a group of children from spaceship to space, which will include 3 generations of these children, meaning, if a child goes on a spaceship, then his grandchildren will reach that planet, for which we will give birth to these children with biologically artificial technique, and will send them to that planet. A man named Richard sitting in the seminar says that we need very intelligent children for this mission, who can live alone and take care of themselves alone. He then asks how long the children will be ready to go on this mission, because he believed that the younger the crew, the longer they would be safe in the spaceship. But Richard was a little worried whether this mission would be successful or not. He then goes to the lab where the children were kept. Going inside he wears a protective suit and meets the children there. As soon as the children see Richard, they run over with joy and hug him. There Richard teaches a kid about some education on a monitor. He then puts Christopher, Sella and the child named Zach to sleep on the bed. Here Zach tells him that he gets scared at night, but Richard tells her that there is no need to fear, you are absolutely safe. The next day Richard goes to talk to the lady scientist and says, I think I should go on this mission with the kids, so that I can take care of these children. The lady scientist says yes to Richard, thinking that if Richard joins the mission will be completed safely. We then see the mission launch with Richard, where first all those kids go to the spaceship and go to their respective rooms, where Richard sees the Earth for the last time from the window of the spaceship. We are then shown a scene 10 years ahead, where now all these children have grown up and become teenagers. All those children start their day together. There they are first taught about fertilization for the second generation, which was supposed to start when they turn 24. Meaning when they are 24 years old then they will be intimate and give birth to new children, and that will be their second generation. Here all those teenagers lived like a robot, where they were given a blue liquid to drink. When teenagers named Christopher and Zach listened to music together, Sella looks out the window of the spaceship into space, after which she goes to talk to Richard, and says to him, is there any importance of our life? Why have we been left to live and die in this ship? Richard shows Sella pictures of her grandparents, trying to comfort her, and tells her that your life has the same importance as that of the people living on Earth. That night, Christopher could not sleep, so he listens to the sounds of the speedship very carefully. The next day, Richard goes with Christopher to check on the plants at Hydroponics Bay, where they grow plants, where Christopher sees an alert message on the screen that there are some toxic chemicals in the water. Then he asks Richard that what kind of toxic chemical it is that even after drinking it, the chemical is not found in our urine. Christopher asks if it's a toxic liquid, but Richard ignores his question. After some time, Christopher asks his friend Zach about this chemical, whose name was T56J. He shows Zach the chemical on the screen, but they don't know anything about this chemical. At night they both go out of their room and try to find out about this chemical. What was the chemical used for? Here, Christopher hacks into the main computer of the spaceship and extracts all the information about this chemical. Then they find out that this chemical is actually being mixed into their water, which is not allowing human personality and human hormones to emerge. This means that all of them are not allowing the hormones that should be stimulated for physical intimacy to be active. All those teenagers used to be lazy because of this chemical, and there were no such emotions of friendship, love, humanity among them. Just wake up every day, finish your work like a robot, and then go to your room and sleep. After knowing all this, both Christopher and Zach stop drinking the blue liquid. They and also tell Julie and Kai about this chemical. Along with this they also tell them that there is a secret compartment in this spaceship which is being hidden from us. From here, Christopher goes straight to Richard and asks him about the secret compartment in the spaceship. Richard tells him that the secret compartment is only made for third generation. After Christopher leaves, Richard tries to send a message to Earth, asking if he can tell all the children about the truth, so that everyone here will believe for him. But his message had to take at least 2 months to reach the Earth. The next day, as everyone is lining up for food, Christopher, standing behind Sella, starts feelings of love about her, because he was starting to like Sella now. When all the teenagers are having lunch, Christopher stares at Sella fondly. But then his friend Zach goes to Sella and says, I love you so much. Just then, Richard walks in and sees Zach holding Sella's hand, to which he asks Zach to let go of Sella's hand, because it was against their rules. Afterwards, Christopher and Zach get into an argument at the gym, where Zach starts yelling loudly in anger. All the people there did not understand that what is going on. Here, Zach and Christopher had all these feelings because they stopped drinking that blue liquid. Then they both go into the observation room, hearing the sounds of the spaceship, where they see their crew member. The two ask the crew member what the noise sound is coming from in the spaceship, to which that crew member tells them that the noise could be some kind of alien life form, which is attacking our spaceship. On the other hand, Sella was in Richard's cabin, where she was looking at the dried plants brought from the Earth. Then Zach and Christopher hear the two of them whispering. from which they reach this cabin by following their voices, where Zach sees Richard with his hand on Sella's shoulder, seeing which he is very jealous. The next day, Richard gathers them all together and tells them that there has been a problem with our spaceship's external transmitters, due to which the connection of our spaceship with the Earth is broken. Richard tells Zach that the two of us will go outside the spaceship and fix the faulty transmitter, so you quickly put on the space suit. The rest of the people start connecting the transmitter from inside the ship. There Zach goes to Sella under the pretense of space suit. Sella begins to tell Zach a little about the space suit. That's when Zach starts touching her the wrong way. Suddenly Richard comes there and grabs Zach and knocks him down. Zach runs away seeing Richard angry, and Richard was running behind him. On the way, Richard sees Phoebe, who tells him that Zach and Christopher have stopped drinking blue liquid water. He then goes to talk to Christopher, but there the two of them start arguing about the blue liquid. Richard tells Christopher that the liquid is designed to prevent exactly this type of behavior like we just saw Zach do. Richard then asks Christopher for his help in fixing the transmitter, so that they can continue this mission by connecting back to Earth. Then Zach goes inside the control room. Meanwhile, Richard and Christopher get out of the spaceship wearing their spacesuits and start fixing the transmitter. Richard is fixing one part of the transmitter while Christopher is fixing another part. At the same time, everyone inside the spaceship is watching them both on the screen. Suddenly they all see on the screen a black shadow moving towards Richard, which comes as a huge shock to Richard and Christopher, which causes Richard to drift away from the spaceship. Meanwhile, everyone inside the ship feel the vibration, which everyone is afraid of, and no one knew what it was. Then suddenly a fire breaks out inside the control room, which they try to extinguish quickly. There, Christopher somehow pulls Richard inside the spaceship. They take Richard to the medical room. Here the medical team along with Sella try to revive Richard, but it didn't work. Then Sella, who knows best about medicine, tells everyone that Richard is dead. Then all the group members come together, where one of the members says that he heard some strange noises in the monitor before all this happened, as if an alien form had moved inside Richard's body. Hearing this, Phoebe starts crying. Christopher then comforts them by saying that if we all stick together, we can make it all right. The spaceship system then automatically reboots, and everyone start checking the CCTV footage. On opening it, they find that all the camera footages in the system have been deleted. Here now they needed a new leader, who can lead them all in the right way and they can reach their destination. Standing there, Zach tells everyone that I can be a leader, but the rest of the members tell him that we should all vote to choose the leader, after which everyone casts their votes for their favorite member, and most people vote for Christopher as their new leader. There, Zig becomes jealous of Christopher for being chosen as the leader, but ignoring all this, he pretends to congregate him. As the leader, Christopher tells everyone that the first thing we need to do is fix the damaged transmitter, for which he calls all the crew members and makes them all work on the ship. Here, the only thing they had was a CCTV, the last thing with that they could find out what happened to Richard. Sella goes to Richard's office and starts looking at his family's photos and videos. Then Christopher comes there. Sella shows him Richard's childhood photos. They both talk about his importance after seeing his parents. Christopher wanted to be a good friend to Sella, so he asks her why Richard told you all about his life secrets, to which she explains that Richard felt completely alone on this spaceship, so he needed someone he could trust. Therefore, he considered me worthy and share his secrets with me. After that, they both start watching a video of Richard, where he was telling how much he believed in this mission, and along with that mission, he cares about all children. Now from here Christopher goes to see the rest of the crew members to see if they are doing the job properly or not, but on reaching there, he finds everyone sitting together in the canteen. He starts scolding them all angrily that we will never be successful in our mission this way. To which Zach tells him that they are fixing the refrigerators so that none of the food spoils. He tells Christopher that there is some food that can spoil quickly, so they are planning to eat this food as well as throw a party for Christopher to become the new leader. To this Christopher agrees. After the party, Kai forbids everyone from drinking the blue liquid, to which they all throw it away. There, Sella and Christopher were sitting together laughing and enjoying watching Richard's video, where Christopher slowly comes closer to Sella. Meanwhile, Zach also gets attracted towards Julie and touches her. Then she also touches Zach back with feelings. All the people there were watching them to see what they are doing. After a few days, most of the members of the group start playing around fighting and jumping around in the spaceship, after which they go to Sella's room and start watching videos of Richard's personal life. Then suddenly Sella comes there and she is surprised to see all of them in her room. She then asks them all to leave, but everyone ignores her. After some time they leave the room one by one. Here, at the end, Zach comes out and tells Sella that Richard is no longer the leader to save you. Hearing this, Sella goes to the medical room and picks up a scalpel. There Christopher sees Zach and starts chasing him, because he thought that Zach was planning to do something wrong with Sella. As Christopher discovers that Sella is currently in the medical room, he gets there before Zach. Meanwhile, Zach was also going there, as Christopher sees Zach coming and he tries to make it look like that he and Sella are in love, for which he hugs Sella. Seeing them, Zach goes back. There, Sella misunderstands Christopher and points the scalpel at him, but when he explains to her that he only came here to help her, So she says you should help other crew members before you help me, because those people are getting totally out of control. Christopher then leaves. Outside he finds Zach and tells him to stay away from Sella. Then suddenly they start hearing some strange noises in the spaceship again, from which they follow the sound around. While following the sound, Kai suddenly sees in a room, where Julie was getting intimate with a crew member. Seeing this, Kai gets angry and starts beating the boy badly, which leads to a fight between them. A few hours later in the canteen, Christopher was trying to be nice to everyone, but no one takes him seriously. Then suddenly that boy comes from behind and attacks Kai with an iron rod, which Christopher immediately stops by beating him. After which he explains to the two of them in front of everyone that they should not fight but focus on their mission. Here Zach says that we all will hardly be able to accomplish this mission. Hearing this, everyone starts thinking that they should stop working now, because they will not be able to complete this mission. But Christopher says that this mission will be fulfilled by their grandchildren. Then one of the crew members says that we shouldn't work in the control room, because there might be aliens there, and they've killed Richard, so they're going to kill us all. He also says that Christopher brought the aliens here with Richard's body, to which Phoebe says first they should fix the CCTV cameras, so they could look into the system to see what had happened to Richard. But Zach interrupts them to say that Christopher is not proving to be a good leader at all, and now I feel that I must lead this mission myself. He tells everyone that if they are attacked by aliens again, we will all face them together. After hearing this, many of the crew members join his group, but some still remain in Christopher's group. A frightened Christopher walks into the control room with his group, because he thought that there might actually be aliens and that he would prove that he is a good leader by killing them. First he goes to check inside the control room itself. On the other hand, Zach and his group also reach the other side of the control room through the hall. These people did not know that Christopher was also in the control room. They go in looking for aliens. The group outside the control room then notices some commotion inside. Then Zach and Kai rush out of the control room in fear and lock the control room from the outside. They tell their group that aliens have attacked them. There Christopher finds a CCTV drive in the control room. He gives it to Sela and asks her to play. Then they find the footage of the control room in that drive. Upon seeing that, they discover that Richard was killed by Zach and Kay, by sending a huge electric wave from the control room's main computer. And then both of them lied about being aliens in the control room and instilled the fear of aliens in everyone's mind. Here Christopher and his group decide to keep it secret, until they make their next decision. Christopher and Scylla hide the drive in their room. At night, Christopher becomes intimate with Scylla. The next morning Zach tells them that I have a party at the canteen today, so you take your group and come there quickly. After a while Christopher arrives at the canteen with his group, while he had no idea why this party was happening. But as they reach there, they find that the party has already started. Zach asks Christopher and his group to eat with them, and as they sit down to eat, Zach stands up and says, "From now on, I declare myself the new leader here." Christopher also stands up and plays the footage of the incident with Richard on the monitor, where everyone sees in this footage that Zach and Kai are behind Richard's death, and they both deliberately lied to everyone about being aliens in a spaceship. Christopher then says that we should lock Zach and Kai in the room. Then Zach tells everyone that I did it all for our own good, because there was actually an alien inside Richard's body, who was controlling us all with the blue liquid, and Christopher brought Richard back inside the ship. Zach also tells them all that the alien is now inside the spaceship, and he is hidden in the body of one of us. All we have to do is find and kill this alien. After which Zach pushes one of the boy from Christopher's group saying that I think he has an alien in his body. Hearing this, the boy quickly runs away to save himself, and everyone runs after him. And in one place they kill him mercilessly by knocking him down. There Christopher takes his group to the very safe room of the spaceship, while Zach and his group go to the medical room and pick up all the sharp weapons. Meanwhile, Christopher is discussing with his group what they should do next. Some of them say that they surrender now, because Zach's group has weapons but we have nothing, from which they will not be able to do anything. So now they must deliberately give up and join Zach's group, after which they would later somehow capture and kill Zach. Sella then remembers that she saw the location of a secret compartment in the spaceship in Richard's diary, and in that secret compartment there are real weapons. Christopher then crawls into the secret compartment, but as he goes inside, he finds that he can't open the last door to the secret compartment that holds the weapons. Now here Christopher entered the wrong password enough times to open the secret door, due to which an alarm starts ringing there, which is overheard by Zach's group member Julie and her partner, and they rush to tell Zach about it. That's where Christopher comes out to get some tools to open that door, but as he starts to go back, he sees Zach with his group trying to open the door to the secret compartment to steal the weapon. And finally they open the door of the compartment, where they find a lot of weapons. There Kai says that I think all these weapons are for our third generation, but Zach tells him that these are just for us. Here 2 members of Christopher's group give up on Zach and join his group, and they tell Zach where the members of Christopher's group are hiding in the spaceship. There, Sella, Phoebe and Christopher plan to get closer to Zach, where Christopher tells them that we should go to Zach and kill him, but Phoebe doesn't want to do that. Sella then sees Zach on the monitor with his group members coming to kill them. There Kai cuts the light of their room, and those people reach their room. Here Sela forbids their group to fight them, because Zach's group attacked them and captured them. After which Sela tries to talk to Zach and says that I also want to join your group, but they laugh at her and Zach tells her that we don't want you in our group, to which Phoebe tells them that you all have gone mad. She says they shouldn't do all this and just focus on their mission. But Zach's all members ask her to be silent, and when Phoebe still doesn't shut up, Kai shoots Phoebe in a rage, from which she dies. Everyone is shocked to see this. Then Zach tells his members that you see what we can do with these weapons. Then Zach points a gun at Christopher and shoots him. But then he runs away with Sela. Zach and the others then start chasing them. There, Christopher hides in a ventilation space with Sela, but following them, Zach finds out where they are hiding. So they start shooting inside the ventilation portions. Julie then tells him that he shouldn't do this because he's ruining their food supply. There, Christopher and Sela escape through the ventilation on the other side. While running, someone suddenly shoots at them, after which they enter a room and quickly start looking for weapons there. Just then Christopher finds a fire extinguisher, and as soon as someone gets there, Christopher hits them on the head with a fire extinguisher, and then Sela knocks him unconscious, and they kill him. At the same time Zayek sees them running away and starts shooting at them indiscriminately, but even this time they both escape from him. While running away, they both enter an airlocked room. Christopher then tells Sela to quickly put on a space suit, and he covers the airlock windows tightly, and he himself wears a space suit. Afterwards, as soon as outside, Zach fires at the airlock door to open it, so the airlock hatch opens along with the door, and along with Zach, everything is pulled out in space very quickly. He then grabs Sela after closing the hatch and stabs her with a knife. Seeing this, Christopher starts to push him out of the hatch into space, but in the course of their fight, he himself is pulled into space. There, Zach tries to close the hatch as Christopher goes into space, but then Sela uses all her strength to push him out and throw him into space too. Then she begins to look out in space desperately searching for Christopher. Then suddenly she sees Christopher holding the corner of the spaceship. As soon as they both get inside the spaceship, and tell everyone that Zach is gone. Hearing this, everyone surrenders. A few days later when all the crew members are having lunch in the canteen, then Sela asks Christopher, how can I be sure that this will never happen again? Then they start watching a video of Richard, in which he was explaining that whether this mission is good or bad, it proves how important it is to save the human being now. A few days later, the crew again votes for the leader, where the group chooses Sela as their leader this time. Sela then records a video to send to Earth, in which she says that from now on they will vote for whatever is necessary for them. There, all the crew members were still busy in repairing the spaceship, and all are perfectly happy together. A few months later, Sela gives birth to Christopher's child, and all such crew members had chosen their partners and advanced their generation, from which many children started appearing in the spaceship. This is how they spend many years on their mission, and those children grow up on the same spaceship as their first generation. Now 86 years have passed since this mission started, and finally they reach that planet, where they now had to settle human race. Here the first generation and their children look at the planet together from the window of the spaceship, and with that, this movie ends here.